thank you so much, guys, for joining in, even without knowing who we are and who I am. So, I'll give you a brief about me. I'll give you a brief about Unlearn product, right? That I'm not important, but Unlearn product is. So, Unlearn product is a transitioning platform where we help people to get into product management. And how do we do that? Because we are going to run our fifth cohort, and in the last four cohorts, all the people who have graduated, the fourth cohort's placements are going on, but all the last three cohorts, all the people who have graduated are now working as a product manager, right? That is because of the one thing that we have seen is the quality of content that is there, but more than that, we focus more on the outcome, right? At the end of the day, everyone who comes to us has an outcome in mind, and that is to get a job, and that is what we optimize it for as well. So that is who we are. And yeah, any questions, we'll be happy to take it right now, or you can start.
Some general links for your information are there in the chat as well, so feel free to check them out.
All right, thank you so much for taking out time, guys. Now let's start with what we are here today, what we are here for today, right? So do you see my screen? Do you see me and behind me a screen?
Yeah, it's good.
A yes or no would be great.
Yes.
Great. Okay, amazing. So what are we doing today, right? That is the question. What is that we are going to do, right? So you guys have, you all folks have known that we are here for something related to Tinder, right? What is the onboarding of Tinder and how? So what are we doing today is first thing, why Tinder's onboarding is the way it is, right? Just give me one moment. All right, let's get started. Cool. So first thing is why Tinder's onboarding is the way it is. What are the principles behind it, and can we improve it? How can we improve it, right? So these are the three things that are very important, and this is the structure of the whole session today, right? We are going to talk about these three things in detail, right? And what are you going to take away from this session, right? That is more important for me, for you, right? The first thing is, what is onboarding? So a lot of you might know about it, but we'll be going in depth about it and how to optimize onboarding. Second thing is breaking down Tinder's onboarding and analyzing each step, right? So how would you improve how can you improve something when you don't know what is the existing thing looks like, right? You have to understand why something is placed at each step. Third thing is creating users flow using FigJam or Miro. So just tell me how many of you guys already know about Miro or FigJam, or have you used it, or you haven't, right?
I have used Miro.
Amazing. So just give me a hand, see how many of you have used FigJam or Miro. Oh, amazing. So you guys know about this. Great. So this will be, we'll do the user flow mapping in FigJam today itself. So you will also, people who don't know about it will also get a glimpse of it. And the fourth very important thing is the design principle behind Tinder's onboarding. And that is very important to know, right? So yeah, these are the four takeaways that you're going to take away from today's session. And if you have any question, just let me know, add in the comments, and then I'll try to answer them. So before we start, I want to know what is onboarding. Give me a hand and talk about it. We'll talk about what you know about onboarding. A lot of product managers, designers are there, so I know that you guys know about it. Just give it a glimpse.
You can raise your hand and then we can shoot something. Nope. Oh, Meenu's here. Aminu, please go ahead.
Uh, a new user, when they are using your app, installing everything, that part of the process, are using it for the first time, the whole process of installing and interacting with the app, and entering into that interface of the product, that is the onboarding process. The first phase of entering into the product.
Yeah, pretty much good. Anyone else who wants to give it a shot? Give it a shot. I mean, don't worry about being wrong. Give it a shot. What do you know? Let's see. I mean, नहीं बोलोगे मैं आगे नहीं जाऊंगा. Yeah, Pavitra, let's go. Yep.
Yeah, so onboarding is like when the when you get the information about a user for the first time, like getting recommendations. As Minu said, it's the first time that the user gets in. So the first time of collecting the information, recommendation, based on that only Tinder gives recommendation, and they'll find the nature, attitude, and all of the behavior of you. So it's like finding more about the user. It's more like NYC, know your customer kind of thing.
All right, and what do users get out of it? Let's come back to the question later. So Manan, yeah, Pavitra.
So the user get back is like they get quality recommendation. Oh, sorry. Please go.
So my idea of onboarding is that it helps a client or customer to get familiar with our application. Like if in case, let's take example of Zomato. So onboarding restaurant would be getting their restaurant set up and teach them how they can receive orders and all.
Pretty good. Yeah, I see Mrinal, Swajan. So Mrinal, just give it a shot in a minute. I mean, in a line, if you can talk about onboarding.
Okay, so I can go for.
Yeah.
It's just the initial experience, right? When somebody's onboarded into a product, right? It's basically he becomes a customer of your product, right? And and the importance is that it can make or break the product, because this initial or the first impression is very important for the product. So that's why onboarding should be as smooth as possible, as simple as possible, in a sense.
Fair enough. Sojan, do give it a shot here for yourself, and then we can move forward.
Onboarding is something that's a journey ends to sign up. So according to me, a journey to sign up is called onboarding. User sign up or uploading or listing something.
Got it.
It's onboarding.
Okay, so all the technicalities, all the jargons that we know about, I mean, what is the sign up, everything. Just take this as an example. Okay. When you go to any shop or any, let's say, supermarket, right? How would you know that what is this supermarket for, right? A Big Bazaar would be very different with a Reliance Trends, right? And Reliance Trends will be very different with a, let's say, DMart, right? How do you know which supermarket is specializing with what thing, right? So it's the first 5 minutes where the user has to know, okay, I am coming to Big Bazaar and isme there is a fashion, there is cooking, everything that I need in my house, right? So if you are able to convey that message to the user during onboarding, that is what, I mean, you just have to convey that message, what your product stands for and what he is going to get. Set the expectations. Set the expectation what user will be getting from the product. That's it, right? That is onboarding. So again, purpose of onboarding is to make sure the user understands the value proposition of the product and reaches the aha moment, the first thing, right? So yeah, I think now you guys have some idea about user onboarding. I just want to give you one example that I really feel like that is pretty cool, right? Have you guys do you know about Asana? Anyone? Right, just okay. A lot of you know about Asana, right? So Asana is a tracking project management or product management tool where you can just track what status of different things at one place, right? Just like Trello or any other thing. So if you see this screen, right, I know this would be very blurred. You cannot see it. Just see the visuals right now. I was not able to find a good screenshot, but you see, this is the first step after you have signed up. So they are asking, tell us about yourself. I'm the first from my team, or my teams are already using Asana. Right. What is it doing? It's expectations, setting the expectation for everyone who is coming to this platform. Right. Go to the next page. They're asking, tell us about you. What kind of work do you do? Right. What is the main objective? Process and project management, personal task management, portfolio and work management. Let's set up your first project. So you see social media distribution plan. This is what she wrote or what they wrote in the first project. And this is what they see here on the right. Right. And then 3 tasks. So they see the 3 tasks here. Right. So as soon as he finishes the onboarding, he already has something tangible to start working on Asana, right? So this is one great example of how you can teach as well as make sure the person understands the value prop of your product, right? So yeah, I hope this example was able to help you with that, right? Any questions so far?
Yeah, Mayan is raising his hand.
Yeah. So, what is this aha moment that Asana gave us in this onboarding journey?
At the time when you start
Uh-huh.
using Asana, right? When you completed your onboarding, you already have your task, you already have your projects onboarded. So you don't have to do that extra step, right? Right. So that is, I mean, saving you time. You also understood about how it will look like, right? How to start tracking the projects. Yeah, Varun.
Generally for a B2C product, so I work with a fintech company and we have like a product which is used by hedge funds and other players in the financial industry. So when we say onboarding, we typically mean the first interaction of the customer with the platform, and also like when we have modeled all their data on the platform, and then like we typically take customer through the whole process on how we have modeled the data. So if I think about that context, like taking that context, wouldn't onboarding for like a Tinder or any similar product would be like the first time customer is interacting or creating a profile or interacting with the platform, wouldn't that be considered as onboarding?
Yeah, I mean, that is what we were trying to say, right? You are doing the first interaction, but if you are able to make sure the customer understands the value proposition of the product in the first interaction itself, right? That is what onboarding is, right? That is what you have to achieve as a product, right? Unless, I mean, there are products that you will just go enter your email and password and then you enter into the website and you don't know what to do now, right? So onboarding, I mean, if you're just saying that is login sign up, right? You're not doing onboarding. Onboarding is where you have to make sure the customer understands what is he signing up for, set the expectations, and then you make sure you start from there, right?
I understand.
All right, amazing.
In some places, like if it's a very complicated product, then like for an enterprise grade product or a highly complex product like an ERP or a CRM, you cannot set the entire expectation of everything about the product in the first go, right? So you kind of help them out with the first few must-have pieces of information that you need from a user, and then you onboard them to every new functionality that they need to use along the way. The entire onboarding cannot happen in one go. Whereas for simpler products, you would want to get them straight to the meat of the experience in the first go, and then the rest of it, if there is anything new, that will be introduced as and when it comes. I think that could be a difference.
Yeah, 100%. So just to introduce Siddharth to you guys, Siddharth is one of the instructors in the cohort as well. So he has around 10 years of experience in product, and if you run Twitter, so the product life handle is run by Siddharth, one of the most famous product handles. So yeah, thank you, Siddharth, for that. Let's go to this situation. A lot of you guys are. Have you ever saw a couple and then felt like कि मेरे को भी चाहिए कुछ, मतलब अभी single बहुत हो गया, I need something, right? I mean ऐसा कुछ experience हुआ है तो just raise your hand. No one's judging you, but just give a good clarity कि I was thinking right. Yeah.
Rohan, we are asking this question on a Saturday afternoon. Why?
Yeah. I mean, अच्छा तो बहुत कम लोगों को हुआ है, 5-6 लोगों को हुआ है क्या? I mean, I know a lot of people trying to hide it, but so you get the idea, right? So Tinder का, why do you need Tinder is because of this need that arises, right? In short, this is the area that Tinder tapped in and say, feeling single. इससे पहले क्या होता था? You stalk somebody on Facebook, invest your time, put your heart into a message, and then just get left on scene, right? Tinder gave you choices, right? You can go back to it, swipe. You don't get matches, वो अलग problem है. But the idea is कि you swipe and it has fastened the process so much, right? And after this need is realized, you probably go and download Tinder or other dating apps. Correct. So this is pretty much when you install Tinder. Correct. So now let's look at what happens after you install Tinder. You guys can see my screen. Yeah. All right. So the first step is here, where you're either creating an account, signing up, or trouble signing it. Right. So this is very important for everyone to understand. Just see this whole journey, because we'll be talking about how we can improve it at the end of it, right? So just pay very good attention to this. Sorry. So you are adding create an account or sign in, right? Let's say you are first time, so you're creating an account. The first thing that you'll see here, you're putting in a number, right? Then an OTP, then an email, put your email. Then you have Apple or Facebook, right? Let's say key Apple user. So this is what you can do. And then they tell you about what is Tinder, setting some expectation. Correct? What happens afterward? You put in your first name, you put in your birthday, you put in your gender, sexual orientation. Now you can choose what gender do you want to see, what is your university, what is your passions, photos, location, message, and now you're here. So till this point, I want to ask a question to every one of you. How many of you have completed this onboarding? Right. So I have also. Right. So Surup's Saptarishi, did you ever think the process is this long?
Yes. Yes, it was very long.
Okay, great. So, right. Now let's say after this long process, you're here where they're saying telling you how to use, right? Slide right to like, slide left to pass, and you have these super likes, boost and undo, right? And then you are here. So if you zoom out of this, this is this many steps: 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 19, almost 20 steps, right? So you need to do 20, you need to pass 20 screens to get onboarded on Tinder, right? How would you improve it? Let's start with this. What will you improve? Do you see any place where you can say, okay, this is not needed, or
Mineral is there.
Sign in could be one thing where I could either take the number or the email. That could work, and later I can ask him to enter the email, right? One of them would be good enough for him to start off, right? And these are basically to send your notification updates and all if you take his email or his number, right? So that could be cut out. Like a lot of things could be cut out here. So that's what's like reducing number of clicks here. Also, it could be one screen applications, similar ways I could think of as of now.
You're saying email or phone number, we just have one.
Yes.
Okay. Anyone else? Give your suggestions. Go on.
Saprishi.
We can just take their email and pre-fill the details from their email, like name and everything.
How do you get that?
We can get the data like name, their age, and everything, and we
How
can
do you
just
get
pre-fill them.
Gmail API gives you those things.
Yeah.
But they're not asking Gmail sign up here.
Any sign up you can use there.
Yeah.
You can use any email sign up, right?
So, the thing is, see, there is a reason why there are 2 steps of verification in Tinder, right? Why there is email as well as phone. So let's not try to reduce that, because there is a reason, right? So this is one assumption that we have to keep out of our mind. Why they're doing 2-step of verification? Because they want more genuine profiles to come in, right? Because again, if you don't do this, there is a lot of spam and bots that are coming in, right? So that is one reason why it is kept the way it is. Anyone else apart from the email thing?
I would
I'd
probably have that where he talks about be yourself, right? Obviously, this welcome to Tinder, be yourself. I would have that as the first thing where you're preparing the user psychologically, right? You're giving an impression what to expect, and then tell him then ask the details for the sign up.
So you're saying that we move this here?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the welcome thing also, right? You're saying welcome to Tinder, so rather have it on top.
Okay.
Sure. Joe has written in the chat that add skip button to the connecting Facebook screen. The 20 screen process takes commitment time and will eliminate users who are casually browsing. As active users create value on Tinder, should we think about reducing it? Can't unmute at a noisy place. Sure thing.
Okay, Joseph. 20 screen process takes commitment and will eliminate users who are casually browsing as active user creates.
But that's the thing, right? Tinder doesn't want people to casually browse.
That's a very good point, Joseph. So what you're saying is, do we even need to reduce the steps, right? Because why are we reducing the step? Is it to easy onboarding? Like, what is the problem Tinder is facing? Is it to get users, or is it to get more verified user or genuine user?
More verified, genuine user.
Yeah, correct. So maybe this could be a good idea. Should we think about reducing the step? Instead of reducing the step, can you figure out where we can do some changes which will help us shorten the process? I mean, we are keeping everything the same.
I think the place where we have tutorial, I think there are 3 or 4 screens that I saw. Rather than them being at the onboarding step, what we can do is, there are many products where when your first interaction with the product, they show you what do you call notes, like when you're actually in the product, and there's a profile coming up, they show you swipe left,
Oh, you mean the
swipe right.
application tour?
Correct. Rather than having a tutorial separate as part of the onboarding process, it can be when you are actually inside the app, they can show those notifications there.
That's, I mean, okay. So this is what happens, right? When you look at visuals, we try to shoot arrows in the dark where we don't know what's going to happen, right? We see these are the things that's happening, but if you zoom out, are you able to have a bigger picture in your head? So what do I mean now is, let me just look at this. So if you're seeing this is where verification is happening, these screens, correct? Right? Then you have your first name, personal details are happening till this point, right? Then some university and passion, extra miscellaneous things. Then you have photos, location, notifications, right? And then you have Tinder, the product demo, sort of that. So if you divide it into 4 steps, then you can feel like, okay, now I look at verification and see what is that we can do in verification, right? And now let's say this is the personal information that I have. Now let's see how I can improve this. So breaking down is very important. And what is the best way to break down things? Is to create a user flow. Do you guys know about user flows? I hope you do. Some of you do. Some of you must have created something. Got it. All right. So if we just map out this whole entire journey in the user flow, it will look something like this. Let's start with this, right? So this is where the Tinder start page, and now you have to decide between 3 things: create account, sign in, and trouble sign in. Let's look at this. Create account, sign in, and trouble signing in, right? Now you have your mobile and OTP. Once you have verified that, you'll see email, right? Now you have to do email. Where is the email thing? Here. You have to do an email and decide. Once you have verified the email, you have to decide. Any questions? Picture is not much clear. Okay.
Rohan, I have a question.
Yeah.
Rohan, as I understand, many of the personal information which is collected is basically to use the Tinder algorithm for matching purpose, right? So that they can give you better recommendation. That's what is going behind in the technology scene. That's the reason they need so much information basically going forward. Is that the correct assumption?
Correct, yes.
Okay, thanks.
Sure. So now let's look at this. Picture is not much clear. I think now it should be. Is it not?
Rohan, I had a question. So, this is a very generic question. While the people who have designed the onboarding process of the Tinder, they might have had this thought in their mind that we can club, name, age, and different personal details maybe together on the same page, maybe, right? But they kept it in a way where one information is going on one screen, just one screen, right? That increases the number of steps, maybe. So why do you think they have kept things like that?
Yeah, so I've added even Manan said that. So in moving forward, we have a particular screen for just like we have a discussion just for this thing, where we discuss about why this is happening.
Okay.
Okay, I can't see the screen. I mean, chat screen because I'm here.
Yeah, I'm on it.
Okay. So the email, then you decide, is it a face? I mean, will you connect it with Apple, Facebook, and do this verification, right? On Apple, email verification happens. On Facebook, you have to share your permission, And once you do that, you'll come to this screen, welcome screen. Again, you're adding your name, your birthday. Once you have added your birthday, gender, sexual orientation, show me. University name, passions, photos, location, notification, inside app tutorial. Start, and this is the whole process of onboarding at Tinder right now. If you map it down to this level.
Rohan, a question here.
Yeah.
Rohan, what happens is, let's say that he's giving his social ID, which is Facebook, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I know I can pull in Facebook important details. Basically, a lot of details if you just give it in social ID, right? Date of birth, age, numbers, and all of those could be pulled, right? Because that Facebook allows, and Facebook sells also via their API. Now the question arises: if we get this data, if he gives his social ID, right, we can basically dynamically allocate what is needed, which all steps could be removed or not. And I don't need to get all the information on the flow, right? The flow can be made dynamic rather than keeping a static flow for everybody.
Correct. Now tell me this. You are entering your mobile here, right? Or you are verifying your mobile in this section 2. In section 3, you are entering your email. But Facebook is happening after that step. Then how are you going to do it?
We can basically ask the details before also. Like, would you like to validate via your Facebook ID or your phone number? Either one of them could be looked into.
I mean, let's say there is a condition where you have to verify it by both, by a Facebook, by a mobile, and as well as email.
I would go with Facebook first because all the details are there for me. I don't have to ask the user to enter an OTP. I can get it validated on the fly, basically.
Okay. Now, let's say you're saying this is what happens. Just tell me if you guys cannot see my screen.
Yes,
So
it's
very hard. It's blurry, basically.
It's a little blurred.
It's a little blurred.
Can you do without the green screen thing?
Yeah, let me do that.
Meanwhile, Meenu, can you please explore the idea that you said about how we can use AI for this? Let's explore that for a while Rohan is on it.
Now, can you guys see my screen?
Much better.
Yeah.
Great. Yeah. Amazing. So just let me know when things are not clear. Else, मैं बोलता जाऊंगा, there's no value that goes out, right? So, okay. So what you're saying is that email verification can happen at this step as well, or at this step as well, right, Punan?
Yeah. So what I mean to say is, it's something like this: we're getting his phone number or an email. Right, that's one step, and the next step is basically getting his social IDs, which is Facebook, any IDs, right, which he's connected to, and that is basically to understand more about him, get more details about him, understand about his ID, what he does not do, and all, so that I can give him a recommendation at the end, right? So first is verification, and then figuring out more about the user, right? That's the two-step process. So what I mean to say is, let's say that I can do verification also if he gives his social ID, Facebook. Because Facebook, if you have put your number, majority of the people have put their number on Facebook and made it restricted. Okay, but there are Facebook APIs which basically allows you to get those numbers also if you are paying for it. 2014-15, those numbers could be get by anybody. The APIs were free, but now they have made it paid. So that's what I'm saying, right? So if you get the details beforehand only, right, you don't have to validate. You know that guy is pretty much solid guy. You can move forward. So basically, I mean to say is, you can make the journey flow a lot of dynamism. You could bring it in, right? And thus you can basically shorten up the whole process of the onboarding process.
Okay, yeah, sure. So, I mean, you're correct in that way. I'll just tell what is happening here, right? So, as let's say you are a product manager at Tinder, right? You need a mobile verification to happen, and you need an email verification to happen. You need to know that these two things are with the customer itself, right? That is the one thing that you need to know. But right now you're saying, okay, you put in your mobile and you put in your email and verify it later as well, and then connect with your third social media account. If you have to verify your email, can you do it at this step? I mean, connected with Apple, you'll get an email ID and you are verifying an email. Like Brinal said, connected with your Facebook, I mean, you can just verify that Facebook is also happening. I mean, Facebook will give you that email is there, right? Third, just email, right? Ask the user to enter the email and he goes to the inbox and does the verification. And the third last option is to skip it. So if we go look back at this screen where this all things are happening, so can we club both these things into one and add a button? Just let me. Let's say this is a button and say continue with your email. And this screen is basically to verify your email. Yes or no? What do you think?
Yeah. Yes, I would go for it.
Right.
I wouldn't go for, because email. I mean, I can easily create a fake email on Gmail, and it's not as much verified going through a Facebook or an Apple registered account.
Mm-hmm.
So Rohan, what is happening is there are a lot of websites which allows you to do these kind of logins, right? Instant logins. They give you an instant email ID and you just get the OTP on your thing and you can be done. And that mailbox doesn't exist going forward.
I know. So that is, I mean, if you are going to solve that problem, the problem will happen here as well, right? Because you can choose it or you can skip it as well. You see this screen, right? You can enter your temporary email here as well and you can bypass that, right? So that is the problem that's not getting solved in this current user flow as well, right? So what I'm trying to say is, to make things easier, can we move email here as well? And then the person goes and say, okay, I don't have Apple, I don't have Facebook, but I have my email. Everyone would have your email, right? And once they say add their email, they'll receive an email to verify it, and once they verify, they move forward, right? So this is where I think one optimization could happen, and this was only possible when you looked at this, the user flow, right? Yes or no?
Yes.
Correct. So now let's look at these gray screens, right? So these gray screens are my preferences, right? And these are skippable things. Go to university name. You have a skip button here. You have a skip button here as well, right? So these two screens are skippable. So can we do something here?
Ron, can you please zoom a bit so that the text is visible? Yeah.
So these two things are skipped. I mean, you can skip these things, right? So what can we do? How do we skip? I mean, how do you optimize this thing?
Actually, the visual is stuck. Is my visual stuck or
visual is stuck?
Mine is.
No, not for me.
Okay. Then maybe issue with mine.
Correct. Right. So again, the point of this whole thing is that if you don't draw user flows, you will be stuck in visuals and you don't know what to do, right? So visuals are very important when you are showing it to user, but when you are finding nuances, you have to see the path a user is traveling to get to the point you want him to go or want them to go, right? That is when user flow comes into play. And once you draw the user flow, you will start seeing the flaws. Okay, why is this step like this, right? So this email thing was 2 steps, right? If we can reduce it by 1 step, that is one thing that we can do. What else can we do? Now the forum would be open for all of you to give me your thoughts about what do you think, how do you feel about the onboarding, do you think it can be optimized, do you think there is something really cool about it. Raise your hand, let's chat about it. And then I'll show you a very cool thing. The design principle that Tinder is following has made a company worth $1 billion. We'll talk about it once I get some responses from you guys. Talk about it. Raise your hands. At least talk about something.
Can we just see the Tinder screens again? Or the
Sure. So this is the Tinder onboarding. Let's divide these things. This is the verification thing. This is the personal information. This is my preferences. Shit. These are my preferences, right? And then these are my extra details that I have to add. Then photos, and then some various permissions. And then you are here. Why do you think, so one question raised, why do you think this is only one thing is happening? Yeah, Harsh.
Yeah, so Rohan, I don't know if Tinder uses this, but it's asking for our phone number and then it's sending a code, and we have a different page for that. Like, can't we put the code section just below the number section? Maybe there's an auto detect feature, and we don't have to put in the code as well. We just put in the number and the code gets detected automatically on the same page, and we are on to the next step.
Pretty cool. I mean, that is still happening. I think iPhone and Google both show you on the keypad that OTP that comes, right? You just have to click and optimize.
No, but getting it on the next screen is not the solution. I mean, if you put it on the same screen, it can still do it automatically, but that's not solving the problem as well.
Yeah. I'll just bring Siddharth. Sid, you here. Do you want to chat about something, your opinions on Tinder?
Yeah, sorry, I'm in a noisy place trying to find a good audio spot. Is it okay?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I think I like the idea of going back to the question of like why is Tinder going through so many steps? Like why do they think they're such a big app? They're a well-known brand name. And surely they understand like onboarding has to be easier, onboarding has to be shorter, but they are still going ahead with putting about 20 steps into getting into your experience, right? So what is the trade-off that they are making? What is Tinder allowing its users to do while making it difficult for users at the same time? So if it is a 20-step process and each of those steps has been carefully considered, then in a way they are using this as a filtering mechanism. Like they know that people want to be on Tinder, but they're probably in a position where they don't want certain types of users to be on Tinder. So they're probably trying to protect their existing user base from low quality users, right? So this is one way of looking at it, but the other way of looking at it is now like Tinder was probably the first one to do something like this, but now they have a lot of competition and a lot of copycats also, like people who are trying to replicate the experience, but there are people who are bringing a new experience to this platform, like this type of platform as well, right? So, I mean, I would then go and look at other platforms, like what kind of onboarding experiences are being offered by others, and can I learn from them?
Yeah.
Right. So, like in essence, I would just say that it is very important to kind of consider the why behind what you see in front of you, and maybe a long onboarding is what is required, or maybe a shorter onboarding can help you improve some metrics, but then you are having to make some difficult or kind of important trade-offs to your core experience, right? So those are things that you have to consider.
Yeah, so Sid, on top of what you said, right? Let's say Bubble's onboarding. So it is, I think, bigger than Tinder as well. 5, 5, 10, 15, 20, and 22 steps that it takes. So what do you think? I mean, the thing that you said, right? That they want to protect their users, existing users, as well as they want to filter out who are coming to their platform, right? Do you think that this is why that kind of thing is happening on Tinder? I mean, on any dating platform, let's say.
Yeah, I mean, you really have to look at the data for making kind of forming a clear hypothesis as to why. But like from the outside, we can presume that, you know, okay, this could be when you ask a person to fill a 20-step form, or when you ask a person to fill a 5-step form, you are more likely to get more completion on the 5-step form.
Yeah.
Right? So that is the clear assumption that if I ask the user to do less, I will get more active users. Right?
Yeah.
So it all boils down to that business metric or goal. Do you want to have just more active users, or do you want to have something else as part of the user experience? So yeah, I mean, certainly things can be improved, but you really have to carefully consider the trade-offs that you're going to have to put in to make those improvements. For example, there is one place in which we're talking about setting up your profile, right? So you have to provide your date of birth, gender, some other details, photographs, bios, and stuff like that. So all of that can also be compressed into import your profile from Facebook. Right? Import your profile from something else. Like if you're connecting to Facebook, just get access to your name, age, those kinds of things from Facebook. It already has your photos and stuff like that. So you can really compress that step. But then the trade-off that you will be making is now you're making your service dependent on Facebook. Right? Now, like if people want to complete a Tinder profile quickly, they need to have an account on Facebook. Or they need to have a well-defined account with a lot of information, all the Facebook fields filled up, right? So there are ways of making it shorter, but do you really want to do that?
Yeah. So great question, Siddharth. I'll ask you one question now. So let's say Tinder is at a stage where it has a lot of users, right? So it is past that growth stage. It is at a maturity stage. Let's say a dating app starts right now. Do you think they will be also doing a 20-step process? Why or why not?
Good question.
I have an add-on to that.
Yeah.
So, like we can say that not most, but a good number of user that comes on any dating platform, let's say Tinder. So they have a triggering point, like we discussed in the starting. Like there is something that happened because of that, or there is some number of users who are doing it. because of that they're coming on Tinder. So is that the reason that they are making this trade-off and making this as a filtering option?
Yeah, both good questions. Let's get some opinions from the group first.
All right.
I think I see a few raised hands, Mrinal and Meenu.
Yeah.
Please go ahead.
Can I go ahead, Rohan?
Yeah.
Yes.
So just one thing which came to my mind is like how human behavior works, right? So it's basically the motivation. If you're more motivated, right, you will do a lot of steps, right? And here what they have done, I think it's something to do with the UX principles, where everything is focused in one screen, right? You don't have to tap to go back, down, up, and right. That requires a lot of efforts to do things, right? That's the second thing to do it. And if you're motivated at the end, you are rewarded, right? With the swipe left, right. And that gives them much more better users. The quality of users are much better. That's the reason I feel the onboarding process is so long. That's in essence my answer would be. That's what I feel like.
Okay. Meenu, you want to go ahead?
Very good point.
Yeah, so as a user, I felt some questions are not required in the onboarding stage. I felt those were unnecessary. For example, university, and these could be asked when maybe to build a profile later. So as a user, what is the first thing which I need to tell the product is my name and sexual preference. So I feel that just 2 or 3 questions are enough to onboard, and I also suggested that maybe the photos thing is also kind of very repetitive and not a quick process. So maybe video is one thing which can be inbuilt in the product, which users can show their best selves.
Right. That's good.
I mean, so this is where our assumption comes in. Why do you think that university is not required, right? So that, again, what Sid said, that the whole onboarding is very carefully designed, very, very carefully, right? So the UX designers that you see on Tinder are one of the world's best, right, after Apple or something. So it has been crafted so you can see there is a skip icon as well prior to that, on top of that, but that's not very visible. So Tinder wants to get your university details so that now let's say one question I come back to, when early stage dating app is coming up, they cannot afford to ask these questions, right? Because people will not complete the process ideally, right? So it also depends on what kind of users you are attracting and what is your filtering mechanism, right? So let's come back to this last thing. Do you see my screen, everyone?
It's visible.
Yeah.
Great. So let me know if it's visible, not visible, clear, hazy, anything.
It will be better if you do it separately as well.
Okay.
Like this is still blurred.
Okay. Give me a sec. Okay. Now you should be able to see the screen. So you do, right?
Yeah.
All right. So did you notice a crazy thing, right? So this was asked a couple of times, I guess, again, right? It was asked to Siddharth as well just now. That why is it, Mrinal asked this, right? Why, it has been carefully designed that you cannot go back or there's just one thing to do, right? So every stage of Tinder's onboarding, there was only one question that was asked. every screen, right? Did you observe this? Any one of you observed this?
I did, and that's for the reason that people don't have to tap here and there. Just put in. It is auto-focused, basically. That's the reason, right? It's very motivated. The section is very motivated, and not a lot of clutter. That's the clean UI which they have done.
Correct. Anyone else? Did you figure out? Okay, this is. Did you observe that there was only single question that was asked every stage? Were in your conscious, did you observe this, or now you are saying, okay, this was happening that time? Yes, no, हाथ खड़े कर तो कोई जिसको याद था कि okay. Coming to that, Saptarishi, right? So what is this happening? What is this? Why are they asking one question at a time? So this is a design principle which is called progressive disclosure, right? And what is progressive disclosure? You're disclosing your own stuff, right? You're disclosing what you are, what's your name, what's your mobile, what's your email, what's your gender preference, what's your university, etc., right? So you're disclosing. There is one way where you can add all this in a single page, right? Like if you see any website, you'll see name, email. SaaS website, you'll see name, email, company, position, and sign up, right? But Tinder did it one step at a time. And this is called progressive disclosure, which you will see a lot in other products and other apps as well, right? Why does it need it, right? When you only have one thing to do, one thing to focus on, right? So there you are not overwhelmed, right? You don't have too many options to work around with, and you don't have cognitive overload, right? Let's say they ask you what's your mobile number, what's your email. You might have seen a lot of products जहाँ पे मोबाइल नंबर भी एक जगह पे मांग लिया, फिर उसके बाद SBI का अगर तुमने वेबसाइट यूज किया है, राइट, तो उसमें मोबाइल नंबर भी मांगा, उसी जगह पे उसने ईमेल भी मांगा है. देन यू क्लिक ऑन प्रोसीड, उसके बाद आता है कि ओटीपी बताओ, दोनों का अलग अलग एक ही पेज पे, राइट? SBI है, पैसे हैं तो तुम कर रहे हो, लेकिन if it was not related to money, it would be a very bad experience for you, right? Why would you use something like that? And you don't know which OTP to fill in where, right? So this is where progressive disclosure will come into place. You'll see a lot of products using it recently, and it reduces cognitive overload. And at the end of the day, right? At the end of the day, product का मेन काम ये भी है that it reduces your decision making, right? And this is what progressive disclosure helps you do that. Zomato में product का काम यही है. It has to help you decide, right? जिस दिन तुमने खोलते हो उसे 50 dishes मिलती है, लेकिन once it tells you, once Zomato is able to tell you, or once Zomato is able to say कि okay 2 minutes में you're able to discover what food to order, then it will be a really great product to use, right? So again, this is where progressive disclosure comes in place. And do you again, we talked about this, right? There were 20 steps that you took to complete the onboarding, right? And progressive disclosure made you feel like if that was crammed in one page, it would have been very hard. But it was, I mean, because it was asked one step at a time, it helped you step up the process much faster, because you have to focus on only one thing, right? And there's a single company, right? There's a $1 billion company right now, which is built on this whole principle that's called progressive disclosure. And that's Typeform. Someone wrote in the comments as well, right? Saptarishi. So Typeform added this, that progressive disclosure, one question at one page, and they built a $1 billion business on top of it, right? So this is how powerful this whole principle is. And this is what Tinder harnesses, right? And yeah, that is it, folks. I'm really good that we concluded it within time. So So at last, I have one person that wanted to meet you. He is one of our very old friend, and Ayush, would you be able to open that? I wanted to meet. I wanted to talk about Rahul. So Rahul was the first member of Unlearn product, the first cohort member, right? So when it was, this whole thing was not even named. It was just 3 people in lockdown doing stuff. Rahul was the first person for this, right? And I just want you guys to meet him because you'll enjoy seeing his journey. He's currently a product manager. He'll talk about it. Let's. Yeah.
Hi everyone, this is Rahul Jha and I'm currently a product manager at Conferry. It's basically a management consulting firm. I have been part of this firm for like more than a year now, and prior to that I was product managing at Simply Learn, an edtech firm based out of Bangalore. Unlearn product, how I came to know about it, post my MBA when I was in home, I wanted to transition into product management, and there were so many resources available on the internet, on LinkedIn, and I was going through YouTube videos, articles, and I thought I was ready to break into product management. And I was able to get an interview or so, and I was not selected, where I realized I don't know what is going wrong. I connected with Rohan on LinkedIn and I found about Unlearn. And initially I was also very skeptical whether, because I have already done all this training and courses, and is this something which will help me? But I think that was the first cohort which Rohan was launching as part of Unlearn product, and it was a batch of 3 people, and we started this journey together. I think Rohan, me, and there were 2 other people, Sri Ram and one more person. So we started this journey with Unlearn product together. And when we started the cohort, I realized what was the gap, which was not coming through when I was giving interviews, but slowly I started to realize what is the gap. You cannot become a product manager just by reading it. You need to practice it. And that is where Unlearn product comes and helps, because the cohort is structured in such a way that a person who knows nothing about product management would come out building us our own portfolio. And that is what interviewers look for while you're trying to crack a job. Eventually, when you get a job, you start working as product manager. That is what you will do. You have to build products. The first thing which you do in Unlearn product is you will build your own portfolio, which is, I think, the USP of Unlearn product community. And Rohan will basically be there throughout to tell you how things work, how you should think like a product manager, because he is a seasoned product manager himself, right? And then throughout the cohort, you have multiple guests coming over to provide insights about different aspects of product, how to crack jobs. So all those are available on Unlearn product, which helps you basically move into product management world and start a role if you're wanting to transition into it. So when I was searching for a job after my over, I think way back in 2020, I think one of the first interview which I got was from Rohan directly. So he has quite a few connections in the community, and he got an interview set up with one of the companies which he knows, the startup company in AI. And he gave me about special 1 hour, 2 hours daily preparation before I could basically crack the job. And luckily, when this happened, I was able to crack jobs which Rohan scheduled for me. And since I was able to build my resume in such a way that I was getting shortlisted because of Unlearn product, I had portfolios to showcase. I had specific skill sets to put in my resume. My resumes were shortlisted more, and I was able to crack 2 jobs at the same point of time. And then I basically chose Simply Learn because there I was getting a product role which I was more aligned to. But I think Rohan, as a mentor and founder of Unlearn products, will make sure anyone who's joining us after completing the cohort is getting a job of his or her liking. It's not like you just have one option and you just choose it. I have seen people having multiple options after coming out of cohort, because people are shortlisted, are good here, and they eventually know how to crack jobs. Since my was first cohort, I have seen Unlearn product growing in leaps and bounds. After that, there has been like multiple more cohorts, and I think more than happy response, and I feel good that I was part of this initial cohort. So I kind of relate to it very much. Not only just that it helped me, but at an emotional level as well, because when it started, it was just a baby, and I'm seeing this grow quite 10x time than where it was 2 years back. So anyone who wants to transition into product management, who is a fresher or who is an experienced person but in another domain, I would suggest them to go and join this community. And I'm pretty sure and confident that this, when you come out, you will feel more confident that you can crack a job, and eventually Unlearn product will help you get that job you're looking for. So anyone who feels that or are skeptical about joining it, I would say by personal experience that remove all those thoughts and go ahead and join this, and you will see success in like when your cohort is completed.
The best thing that you can hear from anyone is this. I mean, for me, it is very, what do you say, touching, to be honest, to see these kind of words being spoken. But yeah, if you have any questions about Unlearn product or any suggestions about this, please feel free to chat about it, and I'll be happy to answer them. Any feedback on the session? Sorry. Hello.
Rohan, a question I wanted to understand.
Yeah, man.
Okay, so the question is that we've used a design principle, right? And then we basically designed it based on the philosophy, how human behavior works, right? And that's where we have taken it up, and we have said that it is more to do with the design thinking part of it, right? The question arises that when you are a product manager, right? This is basically do with the user research and how their behaviors are, right? Okay, now the question arises, what is the data point you're looking at before you even go ahead and do it, and what are the A/B testings you're trying to do before you go there and say, okay, it would be 20, 21, 22 or less than that, right? How do you decide on that, right? And how do you always keep pivoting on your own assumptions and hypothesis which you have built it, and then you end up being a 20-step process?
So, okay, real good question. So you don't start with how many steps are going to be there.
Exactly.
You would start always with what information do you need? How would you filter your folks, right? So let's say we also filter at Unlearn, right? So we'll see what is the profile, what is the resume, and then this is what we want and this is what we don't want in a candidate, right? Who joins in. Why that happens? Because that is a criteria, right? So you need all the people to put in their name, age, gender, preferences, everything, right? So these are the required information that you need, right? So that is the first thing that you'll write. Second thing that you write is what is the optional details that you need. A university or something else was there as well, right? So that two things. And then let's say there are 2-3 things more that you'll define. And once you do all these things, then you say, okay, now this is all what is needed. How do we get it? How do we get all this information, right? Then you can say progressive disclosure is the best thing to do because there is a lot of information that we need, right? People will get overwhelmed when they see that these are the information that they have to fill in a single page, right? So it always starts with what you want and then how will happen eventually, right?
So if to understand in one way, I would say that I have an hypothesis. I say let's build using the progressive disclosure principle, and then keep the user motivated by using only a small space, not too many cluttered screens, and then move forward. And then we basically do an A/B testing and keep on learning more and more about the user, right, and how their behaviors are.
100%, yes.
Okay, and what kind of metrics we wanted to track in these kind of situations? Basically,
it will depend upon what you are trying to achieve.
The onboarding part only.
Onboarding part, if you're trying to say how many people are completing the whole step, that would be one.
I would say that how post completion, how many swipes has been done.
So that would again not be a onboarding metric, that would be an activation metric, right? People are coming to the platform. Activation happens after you have onboarded to the platform, right? Activation is when a user understands the value proposition of the product and he is able to get that first.
Okay, got that thing. Right. Yeah. Thanks.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Joy. Really glad that you would Thank you so much, Saptarishi. Yet another filtering step would be introducing the selfie. Great. I think they already have this selfie step, but they are doing it after the onboarding. That would again be because of some reason that they think that it might become too long, they think, right? Or maybe they want to filter it afterwards, that some people are verified, some people are not, right? And you want those very unverified people as well, maybe. Else you might have only 10 people onboarding, or let's say in that ratio. So too much effort, right? Video takes a lot of effort. Again, text is easier. Creating a video, again, very hard, right? So thank you so much, Harsh. Everyone, thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much, Mrinal. Really glad that you could unlearn and learn, right? Last thing that I would say is that Unlearn product is cohort 5 is starting pretty soon, right? And if you are someone who wants to transition into product management, get a promise job. Promise job is something, how do we promise or something that is not, I mean, a typical promise, but so far we have delivered this, and this is why we are very confident about delivering this cohort as well. And we are so sure that we are able to, if that doesn't happen, that has not happened till now, if that happens, we are giving 100% refund as well, just to show the commitment, right? Because we feel there has to be someone who has to be very accountable about the outcome, right? I mean, everyone who comes to us comes in a hope of an outcome to get a job, and we are not able to deliver that, then we are not good with anyone of any others, right? So that is the whole philosophy of Unlearn product. And again, last thing, if you are someone who is looking to transition into product management, do apply now. We have very limited seats, 6 seats to be honest. And if you're looking to join in, the link should be in the chat box, right? So Ayush already added it, I'll add it again. And if you have any questions about Unlearn product, feel free to ask it right away. Siddesh, I think you raised your hand.
Am I audible, Rohan?
Yes, you are, sir.
I just wanted to ask, like, whenever we do any sort of onboarding process or every application, why just text? Why we can't just speak and it auto detects? For everything, like there is no option in majority of the cases where we can speak, and as we are very much comfortable to just speak few words and it auto detects. It will also save the entire onboarding time which is there.
Okay, so first thing is, let's say the constraint that happens, right? First constraint is that is your voice getting translated into the correct words, right? First thing is, let's say you are speaking Siddesh and I am speaking Siddesh. Is whoever is trying to identify what Siddesh is he trying to say the same spelling for the both words, right? So that is the first challenge, right? That has not happened yet, where everything is smoothly, you can translate your words in, I mean, what you're speaking to real words, right? Just see, I mean Siri or Alexa that you have in your home, right? You have to speak 3 times to get to the right thing, right? And that is the biggest challenge for now. Second thing is, audio is much easier than text, I think, but this is the biggest challenge, right? Converting your voice into text. So yeah, Siddesh. That
okay,
helps.
but like I just add on to that question. Even if we just speak, right, as you said, Alexa or any particular Siri or any assistant device, whereas we have this particular option that we speak, but we don't have correct option, right? Let's suppose there is a university name section. I say Mumbai University, right, and it captures few things. University has been captured well. In Mumbai, there is a small spell mistake. I can just correct it over there, right? But typing me Mumbai University and typing this just one smaller minute change in that is going to save at least half of the second.
Okay, let's do one thing, one quick thing, right? ठीक है. I am going to share my screen, right? I'll do a spelling mistake and just tell me that I am doing a spelling mistake, and then we'll correct it. Does that sound fun?
Okay.
Cool. So let's say Mumbai University, right? Can somebody start noting down the time? Ayush, can you stop? Can you use your stopwatch if you have?
Sure.
Okay. So Siddesh, let's start. Right. 1, 2, 3. You speak, and then I'll write. Okay.
Should we start now? Can you again start the time?
Yeah, I'll
One.
just count. 1,
Okay.
2, 3, start.
Mumbai University.
Now you want to change, right? Let's say. Okay. Now it's correct. So Ayush, how much time did it take?
12 seconds.
Okay. Now I'll start the timer again.
1, 2, 3, go.
First. And
Oh, I'll do it again. No worries.
okay.
1, 2, 3, go.
But done.
6 seconds.
Yeah. So this is the difference, Siddesh. Right? You're doing something, you're doing 2 efforts in audio. You're speaking, then the audio is getting captured, then there is a mistake and you're rectifying it. So 3 steps, right? And in text, you're doing only 1 step.
I mean, we can see audio becoming one of the methods of like entering things in the future, like in the coming next few years. I hope to see that, because we are moving towards that era where technology is getting boom and audio is becoming the primary thing for like a few things now. So we can see that happening in the future, but as of now, it will just add one more step for you. Like once you speak, then you'll check, then you'll correct it.
Yeah. Great. So last thing, guys, if you're here, I can see your faces before leaving. That'll be really cool.
I was just gonna say that.
Yeah. Gautam, Bhavni, he said. Samson, Tushar, Supriya, Anubhav, Gautam. Hey Tushar, hi, how are you? Hey Siddesh. Glad. Thank you so much for spending your Saturday morning with us. Had a cool session, right? If you have any questions again about Unlearn product, feel free to chat about it. If you're transitioning or you are in an associate role as well, let's say associate PM role, and you want to learn more, do chat about it and let me know. I'll be happy to answer them right away.
All right.
Hey Supriya, hi.
Hi,
Hi, how are you? Where do you live?
I'm doing good. Sorry?
Where do you live? Right now? Bangalore or Delhi?
Now I'm in UK.
Oh, hey, nice.
Uh,
What are you doing, right, Supriya, right now?
I completed my master's in international business and I'm doing as a junior product manager in a startup company,
Great.
e-commerce startup company. Yeah.
Right, in London?
Yes.
Amazing. How is it going there?
Yeah, it's going good.
Great. How was the session? I mean, if you have any feedback for us, that'll be really great.
Yeah, it's really good and I'm really trying to explore a lot because it's my new career in product management.
Mhm.
It's really helpful for me. But the only thing is the screens are really blur. I need to, it's difficult to go through it.
Oh, okay. So let me do one thing. I'll share you this whole slide afterwards, right? So that you can have a clear visual of.
Yeah.
And yeah, thank you so much for joining in. If you think that these sessions 10-week program, I think that would help you a lot. And so yeah, do apply and we'll see you in the cohort as well. So,
Sure.
Great. All right, Samson, Anubhav, Siddesh. Thank you so much everyone for joining in and see you soon. See you in the next event. Have a good day.
Right.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, people.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.